communication careers between parents and children. Yeah, it's more or less a fallout of the presentation of Elijah last week. And from the last week discussion, we have seen the need for us to understand that we need to communicate with our children. But the question everybody keep on asking is, how do we talk to these children who don't want to talk to us? Is an assumption. Inshallah, Elijah is here tonight to take us through the rudiments or the basic things we need to know so that we'll be able to break the communication barrier, critical communication barrier between us as Muslim parents and, and our children who are the futures or the future of Islam or the tomorrow of Islam. So inshallah, I will invite Alaja Alioluwafuyi to take the floor. May Almighty Allah make it easy for you, ma. Alaja, assalamu alaikum, ma.
Ameen. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alamin, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Fathers, mothers, grandfathers, brothers, greet manner of greet by saying may it continue to have with us as as like Prof said, the topic of our discussion this evening is breaking critical between parents and children. And that is this symbol, and it is that there is no gainsaying, no exaggeration about the that and today hardly is able to hello. Hello, are you hearing me, sirs and mass? Wow.
I think the thing is breaking, but I think we had you now.
Okay. Thank you. They brought me back itself without me making any efforts. I hope Allah to enjoy ourselves. So let's say the receiver of the message must necessarily the receiver is to give. By giving feedback and active communication, we are saying that we want somebody that is nation to pass down and that's exactly that the giver is trying to give. And this we can only effectively by the type of feedback that the receiver is giving. So in communication, there is that the communication, the message, the information that is being mostly understood, intended. Or there should not be a question of, oh, I meant, the time a feedback is coming back must be that what I meant exactly was what said God. And listening is feedback on through actions or by verbal reactions. There are some factors that necessarily facilitate effective communication. Therefore, they include clarity. Whoever is passing down information must be very clear in his mind as he or she is trying to pass on by being very simple in session. Another factor is that the information coincides, overload information to unnecessary embellishments that could distort even the that you are trying, the message that you are trying to pass down. Don't overload it with unnecessary, relevant influences. Straight to the point, so that whoever is listening to you can quickly what you're talking about. For that person to be able to get it, even when you are very clear in your, the receiver must have active listening, a skill on that assist effective communication. Whoever is listening, be active in it. It's not that it's and then you are doing another thing with the your home, or looking at the television, or looking at the screen, or try read a book, what something to you. You must be attentive, 100% attentive, and listen so that you get every point, everything that the communicator to you. For you to be actively involved in the communication process, the receiver must take cognizance of the non-verbal cues, language, contact, what he's talking about, the tone that is being expressed. Because most of us that are here, that in our days, it's not all the time that we even anything for him or her to correct, especially the mothers. They have looking at that to have their eye contact, and by pressure of faces, you know what they are saying. And you pick it like that, and you act as ordinary you. Again, whoever is communicating, you want to communicate effectively, you must show empathy. You must be ready to see from all the parties' perspective. You can't be too rigid about the way you see it. Points your mindset about the subject matter, but regardless of the fact that some other people may hold different views from yours. If you do this and you're able to do this very well, you will be some factors affecting effective communication. Therefore, clarity, consciousness, whatever you are saying must be correct. You cannot be saying it like somebody wants about the 5 pillars of Islam now, and you now get to Salat, and you are now there are 3 or 4, when we all know that canonical number. By the time you are saying 3 or 4, you will lose respect of where one does not is saying, and you must be coherent. It's not that this and that. No. Oh, yes. Oh, no, no. All this must not be the process of passing down this information. And information you are passing down must be complete, not halfway. Some people when they will start expect you to help them complete. How will I know what you are saying? Until you have completed, say there's no, I would not see your mind. I don't have a mirror to look at your mind. So you must necessarily complete the sentence, complete the message, and then we can pick it from there. You must be courteous. Delivery of must be very courteous. Respect, they say, you get respect. Because there's which are the blockages, the things that will not allow effective place are the complete opposite of what assists in of today, coming from their own parents. Just only give what you have. We have been loaded by our own parents. We have honestly that what has been passed down to us are the best, best, and so we are trying to give them the best. And so we want to start giving them information, information as far as they are concerned, information overload. What they are telling to their own. And for that reason, you are on your own, like they will regularly even say you because they're not even listening to you. They're probably just looking at you, just finish what you say on the type of you are. If you are that authoritative parent, this is what father, your mother, listen to me. I have the wisdom before you. I lived years before to this world, so you must listen to me. The guy or girl will be there, okay, daddy, without really listening to you. So we must be of this by information overload. Just be a person like that. Talking at are not saying what the cooler child and the siblings are around. They're not even notice that they are making signs. They are in area. The person is not even to you. He or she has picked one or two things that indirectly is the sibling without them even saying anything. Parents must be conscious of career. The second one is this language gaps that I want us to, because we are primarily Yoruba Muslims, especially Yoruba way of parenting. They are much more authoritarian, always wanting to show that they have the authority. Sometimes, so they come with language that this is not even use high level vernacular, like some people, like I've heard from some children, that somebody high level vernacular. Say, what do you mean by high level vernacular? What we not understand big words that we could not. Some parents will do that. If they get angry, they speak Yoruba with the what is it called? Owe, and all of these that they will come and bombard the space that they are not. these are children that always will say they are on languages at the same time. The Yoruba is there that we still try before the, whereas when they get to the school, it's about English, English, English. Yoruba home is not on. If we communicate in Yoruba, have a passage. But when we just talk with these children, we don't want to bring all of the Yoruba in us into play in our language. And over the heads of these children, they're not, they're not understanding. Whereas you think you are communicating. Again, most of the time, like I said the other time, before you say anything, they already stress. No, my mental wellness is of important to me. I am this. You are affecting my emotion. If the parent does not listening here to this, sorry. Ẹ̀yin gbá olúwẹ̀ because truly they have wired themselves. The environment wired them. They are generational class has wired them to live much emotions. The thing is annoying. The thing is all sorts of negative emotions that they carry about. And if they state, you can't much from them in terms of passing down information. Our cultural issues are there, like I said earlier on. We are with Islamic etiquette, principles, tenets, and practice with our culture and traditions. But as Allah will have it, post this to better higher Islamic knowledge than ourselves. And they will want one way to leave the know. And then they will wonder to look at points of view, or you want to talk about Yoruba manner. I recall at a time that a parent was trying to carrying on his head. It was too much that he should and bring it, scrape it to nothing. And the child said he has read Islamic book. The Prophet was very long. So what are we Yorubas here as men does not make it. He's trying to make his own ear to be much. He's saying that and those are there that come up and say no, see the issue of birthdays, the whole Yoruba culture, the olden days Sarah, then because and now Westernly, then we turn it into celebration. Children will never celebrated his birthday in that manner. That celebrated back his birthday was by fasting on Monday because it was so two parents who you want to recognize and mark your birthday. I don't take the day that you were born. They will come and tell you Maulud Nabi, you celebrate the Prophet and was not celebrated even during the life of the Prophet. Even the day never celebrated the Prophet's birthday. So how Have you caught this? Remember, there was a time that we were trying to fight for Free Friday. Some of the raised their head and said, no, what the Quran said was when the Juma prayer rush you to the point of prayer, leave what you're doing, whatever trade that you are engaged in, go and pray. But as soon as you are in prayer, you go back to trade or whatever business activity that you are doing. So why will you be asking for free work free? That is not part of Islam. That is an Islamic. Coming to the view and interpretation of their knowledge of Islam. And of course, like I always say, I mentioned it earlier on, they're supposed to, the Yoruba, they know it perfectly. Even English, it's not as if they are that, even in the implement of Arabic. And so they even mix all of these languages together in their own communication. And so when you are communicating with them and they come up with all of together, you yourself some challenges of understanding what they are trying to say. So it's a bit difficult to engage in a serious communication with them. You are ready to patient and some other things. This career many that I have not mentioned. I talked about the generational differences. The way you communicate with millennia is different from the way the Gen Z is. The moving close too. So you must recognize that generational difference between them, to appreciate their peculiarities. Otherwise, with them. So to break these barriers, therefore, like I said, we must be ready for discussion and dialogue. You must be ready for discussion and dialogue with them. It's not passing discussion. In fact, you may just lay down the topic for discussion. Ask them, what do you say about this? How do you think we should go about this? And they will come up. If you give them that respect, oh, you too, you of wisdom, you can put some things on the table for us all to consider. Mm-hmm. They will be giving you the information in the world, and you will pick from where they are coming, and it's for you how to suppose yours on theirs and be able to come up with, so good. You must be able to consult them with things that affect them in their own lives. You know, father, yeah, father wants you to go to school. Fine. It is certainly meant to be an imam. Sorry, I want you to read Islamic religious studies because your dad is, or your dad may not even be, but he has seen imams around and he wishes that its son become basically, and he could just mention that to you. And some of us will just pick, oh, my dad will be this. And because I disagree with him, I want to satisfy my dad, that will be it. Father will talk of lawyers. There used to be a lawyer in the town that everybody wants to be that respected, and on and on and on and on like that. Some case concerns about what career they want to choose. I told I begin to perhaps most of the time along their own path, not necessarily along your path. When we were growing up, we said there was death of female doctors. And of course, if not all of us, upcoming parents then said, oh, our is that profession, because at the end of the day, how can we be to at the hospital and the doctor that will be attending to you will be a male, choice and expose everybody to a stranger of a man. So we let our children go for medicine. Some of us missed it by trying to follow them, so to say, because what some of us were doing, we always emphasizing, oh, you are brilliant, this, you are go for medicine, until it started irritating some of them. No, going for it. Whereas if we had consulted them, some of them that this medicine, because we said that was what we wanted, but I could not finish. They fell out on the way because we don't allow them to go for their choice that would be peak. So for us to break the barrier of communication between us and them, ready to in their natural, that is a Quranic function. I call the Prophet was told to consult women. It goes to even for our children. Consult them, listen, and guide them. Many a time, you think advice is not supposed to be a compulsory thing. Advice based on circumstance and from your own perspective. You leave the child to take the, you leave this child to just suppose your own advice on own perspective of everything and be able to come up at the day his own decision. By the time you are trying to make it a forceful thing, you are enforcing it like it nothing. In fact, the reason why they will say no, and it cannot be, even if that be something that you have go taking it, trying to force it down his throat to be the reason why he or she will not do it. Consultation, listening here, listen to them, dialogue to them, not forcing down your own points. And when they have made points, genuine acknowledge, oh, I wasn't looking at it from that point. No, you are right. So that's a pity. We can look at it together, all of this. Once you do that with one particular topic, you make it available that to be pushed for some other topics. Like the topics you are talking about, like I've been given the example career of a educational career. But if you have been that open and you have been engaging, allow them to, at the end of the day, take it in their, as they are guiding them, you are watching them. Your eyes are not totally off them. So they are trying to, you are there to give the kind of support that will make them stand well. That's a headache. No. Even when it's wrong, you must still leave your eyes semi-open to be able to, by the time morning to stormy waters, they are not to be left. It's only when you do that to other, like the one that's concerned to us, marriage. If I have not seen that, you in instance, if they have not first instance, they won't come up and tell you all of those ones ordinarily. No, they won't. They won't. Any time. Parents wait till that time when they are marriageable before that. Even while I was growing up, any wrong to do as a but she has a song that she for the girls. Hello, sorry, it took me out again. Alhamdulillah, I'm back. I hope you are hearing me. My father will come shortly and say, see, Mansura, Jalila, Nuratu, because you people are girls and you will eventually land in your husband's various homes. You have to be careful with yourself. You are not supposed to fight at all so that you don't have scars on your body. Because a responsible man would not want to marry a woman with scars. And that is sufficient the reason for us not to fight in the agbole that we all belong to, where everybody will want to. I mean, if you know the Lagos Islanders' way of life, we sort things out by or physically. But my father has taught the girls that no, don't engage in physical fight. In fact, you don't have to be abusive because if you get used to abusing people, you wouldn't know when you'll be abusing somebody around the area that the man that will have loved to be your husband will be, and you say, hey, this one is so abused. No, let me run away. I can't marry this kind of a. So my father will always come from that point, even as young as a girl of 7, a girl of 8, will be guiding you against it. And as you are growing, they will be coming up with things, that will align with your age. We knew as girls that you cannot, for whatever reason, bring a Christian man home, even though we were not that grounded in Islamic knowledge. From home, we got the most of what we got from MSS. Of course, we went to Ilekeu. I did Wilimo, but we know the kind of Ilekeu and Wilimo. You just study the Adichu. After knowing the Adichu, then you break Quran in your Beresnika, Abanka, you Tankara. Then after a while, you have been exposed to reading. You can read the Quran by yourself. Then the next thing is you do Wilimo. And they give you, you memorize 1 or 2 hadith for Maulud Nabi purposes or for Lailatul Qadri night that is always celebrated as if they were parties. And so those were the things that, not real Islamic knowledge. But even at that, as we were growing, my father will always come up with appropriate age information to you. Like, no go area. You cannot bring a Christian home for him as a girl. Even as a boy, my father will tell you, no, we cannot relate effectively. So marry from within the religion. How much engagement do we do for our girls? We just, or our boys, we leave them, our children, generally, we leave them. Chat them, they go to Arabic classes in the evening, or the stars comes home to come and take them after classes, or weekends. They spend most of their Saturdays and Sundays learning the thing. And these days, information abounds over there. On their own, they try to retrain and retrain and retrain themselves. They learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn, and they are full of this information. As they are growing, we should be ready to engage them, even in this, with their knowledge. And acknowledge them. If they know anything better than you, please agree. It is when they have been able to have that confidence in you that yes, we can discuss, we are discussing. It's not that you just want to load down on us, that they will actively listen to you when you have any points to make, when you have any advice to offer. And when you're advising them by their own situation, they ask questions. Unlike in our days, when your parents is advising you, just listen. Meaning attentively. Even when you are retorting in your mind, this one cannot work. If they are not able to show it on your face. In their own cases, they will ask you questions. When they ask questions, be ready to answer them. Like we're taught in education, no question should be considered stupid. It's either that the person that is asking that question does not know enough and wants to know more, or thinks he knows more than what you are giving him, and he or she wants to tell you that, oh, I know more than that. And you must be ready to receive it. But if it is just that passing it down, no room for respect, you are not listening to them actively, you're on your own. As much as possible, for you to be able to manage them very well, you too must be able to manage your emotions. Recall that I said earlier on that they are always very full of emotions before you talk anything. They are close to, oh, it's affecting my mental well-being. And in those days, you were not talking of mental. You talk of mental wellness or otherwise. But it's so easy for them to say, especially the Gen Z. This thing is affecting my mental wellness, affecting my mental. No, I don't want to. You better take it easy at that point, and you come back some other time. When I say let's discuss with them, it is different from arguing with them. That's another point that we must note. Don't argue with them. By the time you are arguing with them, you are bringing yourself down unnecessarily. It's not about argument. I've made this point. If you have points to make, please make your point. Give me this, and let's look at all the points together. But not argument, because by the time it has degenerated into argument, the Prophet even teaches that we should not argue. We can discuss, we should discuss, we should dialogue, but we should not argue. Because by the time people are arguing, it's about, I want to make superior points, rightly or wrongly. And by the time you are making superior points rightly or wrongly, it can degenerate even into abusive language. And we will not want that to happen between the child and the parent, not for anything. So we don't argue with our children. Sometimes they want to argue with you. But you, as an elderly person, you know, just take caution. No argument. At that point, just listen and listen and listen and listen to him or her. And by the time he or she is done, they fine, okay, we'll continue discussion at some other time. You must be able to recognize that time when the discussion should be left at a point that we can always come back to it. Let's go and ruminate on what we have discussed so far. So we come back again, we'll continue. It may not be that day, may not be that week again. He too will have had, or she will have had the opportunity of ruminating over what you people have discussed. Avoid as much as possible discussing with them when the situation is stressful. Like we all know that when the parents of the house are doing boom, 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 even without disagreeing in the presence of the children, there's a way it happens that they too will know. Because some of us, we are not able to effectively manage our own emotions, our stress. We are not able to manage the stress effectively. There are some fathers, the week of payment of school fees is a tough week for everybody. Nobody should commit any sin, in quotes. Nobody should commit any offense. Nobody should offend daddy. Nobody should do anything that will make him angry. It's not what you are doing that's actually making him angry. It's the fact that all his savings for like 3 months, he has to bring everything out in one day to pay for school fees. And it takes a lot program. And it's not all of them that can effectively manage that. So that is not the time for discussion from the part of the mothers. Or you can do, they shouted at me. Sorry. And that takes me to another thing. For our children, our parents will not tell us sorry. Oh. Maybe they started telling us sorry after we have gotten married. And then we now get into discussion. This happened, that happened. They can say, oh, sorry, that time. No, you did not understand me. Oh, I did not understand you. But these ones, as the thing is happening, it's the time for you to say sorry when you are actually sorry. And what it does with them is that it gives them some level of confidence in you. It adds up to your respect. Saying sorry, even to one's child, does not take anything away from you. If truly you have offended and you have realized that you have offended. In fact, for we mothers, and mothers on the call can bear me out. When they are still very young, when they are just growing up, the little ones, it's always very easy for us to say sorry because you know that by the time you say sorry, the child will stop crying or stop being cranky. It's not that you have offended the child, but let's have our peace. For those of them that have even grown up, the teenagers, the adolescents, even the young adults are among them, if in any way you realize that you have offended them, sorry, should not be too hard for us to do. Apologize sincerely, and they will see that, and that makes them to respect you more. You are even teaching them, training them that nobody knows it all. Nobody is perfect. You cannot be saying it words of mouth that nobody is perfect and it's not reflected in our own action. When you have heard and it's so obvious that that cannot be it. And because I am the mother, because I'm the father, I cannot say sorry to my son. I cannot say sorry to my daughter. No, we are missing it. And this is one of their complaints about us. That people believe that you don't ever make mistakes and you're never sorry for anything. For those of them that will engage some of us that try to come to their level to try to understand them. As a parent, like I said, you must be able to manage your own emotions effectively. You can only give what you have. When you are angry, follow the tenets of Islam. The Prophet of Islam has taught us how to deal with anger. That if you are standing, sit down. If you are sitting and you are not yet fine, lie down. If you are not yet okay, carry your age and perform ablution. If the thing has not come down, you go and observe 2 rakah. By the time you are onto this, you will have calmed down. And let them see you do it. They will get to know, they will get to understand that, this person is trying to manage his or her anger. It's not that you now need to blow it up with them. Like some of our parents used to say, yes, I've had people from our generation to say, and they said the child said that it's an Islam. You can't say that. There's nothing like if you are the parent, you are the parent. You did not choose it. It was designed by Allah. Nobody chooses who should be his child. No, do you choose who should be your parents? It's by the design of Allah. And for that reason, you cannot say, I will inherit you. Lai is an Islamic. What you it is the Yoruba that is still in some of us that will make us say such a thing. Even when we know we do not believe in it. But because, out of annoyance, out of anger, we want to actually deal with that child. And we are so creating unnecessary problems for us. After our discussion, at least their confidence, I've talked about it. Part of the way to enlist their confidence is allow them to share their own views. And when they have made better points, acknowledge, respect their views. Even if you want to disagree in a way that shows that you respect that view in the first instance. Apologize when you are wrong. And by this, they have that confidence in you. Keep their confidential information. That's another thing. That's a problem with we mothers. We find it a bit tough managing, keeping our children's confidential information by not exposing to their parents, to their fathers. There is a way they will confide in you in some instances that you will want to agree. I can't keep this one though. If you don't want me to tell your father, go and tell him by yourself. Find a way of telling him. That's a better way of handling such information. If he says, this one I'm telling you, and you know it's not something that you should keep away from the father. Rather than you going to advise him, it's better for you to go and tell him directly. There's no way I will keep this kind of a thing with me. Find a way of telling him by yourself. If you have to look for his friend that you have confidence in that can tell him, fine. But that you tell me and you tell me not to tell him, this one, no. But there are some that you can still keep without telling their fathers. Some subtle ones. Like the guests can come and tell you, Baba come, bounce sorrow. You two, you have not even done any homework on that, Baba. I don't know that boy. This one that boy that came here the other time that is actually coming to toast your dad. Mommy, you tell you told you you know. And when they have more serious issues, therefore they will not come and tell you. It goes too with the fathers. There are times that if you have built so much confidence in them, your girl child, your gentleman can come up and tell you, confide in you, and tell you, not for money yet. Should be able to keep that. And we can go on and on and on and on. And I'm looking at the time as I'm talking because it's supposed to be something that we'll discuss. Above it all, pray for them and pray with them. Watch my words. You pray for them. You can pray for them in their presence. You can pray for them behind them, but pray with them too. Let them know that you are praying. Like I said, sometimes when I am discussing issues with my children and we do not seem to be agreeing, I say it's okay. I use prayer to may Allah guide us right. Guide us all to the best of decisions in this particular situation. And there are times that you live there, okay, it's a decision, by me. A máa ń fi wọ́n lẹ̀ kí iná jó wọn lọ́wọ́ díẹ̀ kó lè mọ bí iná ṣe rí. Don't be overprotective. In some of their communication, we try to be overprotective. This happened to me. I don't want it to happen to. Where are you living the street wisdom that you have? And it's part of their being today. Most of them lack strict wisdom because we are overprotecting them. I don't want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't want. Let them learn. But under your watchful hands, and your watchful eyes, so that we don't get astray. I said, pray for them all the time and pray with them. Let them know right from their youthful age. I recall that because we were always praying together in our house. The prayer points of one child then was that, oh Allah, let him come home early today. Yesterday he came home late. He said he was involved in traffic, Lagos traffic. You all know that. Day before yesterday, he was late. Today, go, oh Allah, Maghrib time. The boy's prayer will be, let my father come home very soon. Allah, them no for whatever. So you have assisted them even in your communication with them and their communication with Almighty Allah. And I take us quickly. I want to give us some assignment to do. We have had issues of parents advising or communicating with their children Luqman, Surah to Luqman, chapter 31 of the Holy Quran. I want to refer us to verses 12 to 19. See the kind of admonition, the kind of communication that so some people say Luqman was a prophet. Some said no, he was just a saint. Whoever he was,
Kindly
see the way
try
he
and
communicates with his
the,
son.
the
The same thing goes for
kindly,
Surah to Yusuf. See the way Prophet Yaqub was communicating with his children from time to time. Chapter 12, especially verses 4 to 14. I ask Almighty Allah to break all the existing critical barriers between us and the communication between our children and ourselves, and we ask Allah to continue to guide them and guide them all the time, whether we are there or not. The Almighty Allah make our parenting very easy, make it uja in our favor and not otherwise. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah reward you abundantly. May Allah increase your knowledge, increase your piety. Well, we have all listened to her. Unfortunately, the network is not so friendly, but I think we have managed to pick so many things, not just one or two things. Inshallah, we'll try and send the recorded discussion on the platform. So, though Alaja, some people are suggesting that because they have difficulty with their network or with network generally, that maybe you should record everything again and send the voice notes. But I want to think by the time you go through the recording, we should be able to clearly pick some of those things we are not able to pick. We have just 2 minutes to the end of the normal class, but I think we can extend it by 5 minutes, making it 7 minutes. So do we have any reaction, contribution, clarification, questions, information? Yes, Haji Maria Gbadamasi, you can unmute and make your contribution. Let it be brief, please.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mommy, jazakumullah khairan kasiran. May Allah reward you abundantly. My own reaction is, what is happening? Can it be termed to be as a result of the hadith that the Prophet said, Sallam, that the more like a slave child will give birth to master, or like we will have children who will be stronger than us or something, because I don't actually see any reason why this is happening if it is not as a result of Lawa. Because I could remember the way I was raised, the kind of upbringing I had. My mom had never said story to me, though I would have loved that she actually said story for so many reasons, but she never. And I just took it well, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So, but I see kids whereby if during my days, if I'm being punished, there is no way I can show reaction, like mommy said. But even if nowadays you have kids and they do something wrong, their face is not even showing any remorse. That's okay. They acknowledge the fact that they are wrong. So this is what bothers me. So could it be Irelaye, or the hadith of the Prophet don't share any? Because me, I don't see any rationalization for it, ma. Thank you so much, ma. That's my reaction. Jazakumullah khairan.
I think that reaction is succinct enough. Respond so that you can conclude by 9:35.
All right, sir. Uh, Someone is still talking. Do I go
Nobody's
ahead?
talking, please.
Okay,
Go ahead, ma.
okay, thank you. The two, I would say the two. The Raleigh thing is there. And of course, the children of today are very, very rebellious. It's about no grief for anybody kind of a thing. No grief for anybody. No grief for anybody. But like I said in course of the discussion too, we equally need to show some level of understanding and be able to deal with the situation effectively. Some of the times, the kind of training that we will give can be said to be quite